and just see what we get. Hello, Supercars in Seconds here. Today a magnificent machine, one I've always enjoyed driving, one of the last naturally aspirated supercars around today, the Audi R8. This one is the V10 Plus, so 610 horsepower on this 2018, about 413 pounds of torque, so a little bit lower torque. What's fun about that, though, is you have to rev it out, and you'll see me driving that now shortly. But let's take a good look at the car. This is a great looking colour on the car, Ascari blue, named after the famous racetrack, of course. It does have the carbon blades, very much an R8 sort of signature. In the earlier cars, of course, it would be straight down. Now they've got that split, which I kind of like. It gives the car much more of a step in the side, and particularly from the rear three-quarter, it looks much wider back there. Really nice. This is, again, being the Plus, you get a lot of the carbon fibre. Diffusers, a beautiful big exhaust either side, of course. The big four rings, and something fun that's missing in a lot of cars today is a visible engine. Very, very beautiful. So to open up the engine bay back here, that's inside the car. You have to have the vehicle in accessory mode, and back behind here there's a little switch. I pop that and it does open up our little engine bay for us here. Look at that thing. Very beautiful. More carbon fiber again all the way around it. And nice to see, as I mentioned, it's just really cool to see the engine. I love that strut brace across the back of the engine there. Of course, driving all four wheels with a slight rear bias, the Quattro system, really makes for an impressive car. The dual clutch transmission, really impressive. The earlier cars, of course, had single clutch, and it was very much a jolt when you changed gear. This one now just super smooth and responds very quickly to your inputs. So size-wise, she's 176 inches. About 76 inches wide, and then about 48 inches high. So really a pretty looking car, and incredibly low in person. The camera doesn't really catch how low this car is. Really excellent looking. I like the carbon fiber pack on this particular one. It's everywhere. It's down here on the little splitter there. It's on the side mirrors. It's on the blades we talked about. It's on the wing down below. Inside the car also. Reach under there. And it's nice, the carbon's on the vents and so on. Really very impressive looking throughout the car. As far as wheels, tires, etc., they do use the Pirelli tire on the car, the P0 tire. So 245 up front and a 305 back there. Excellent looking wheel. They offer it in a diamond cut finish, but against the blue, I kind of like this just plain black. The silvery caliper on the big ceramic brakes, about a 15-inch rotor here and about a 13-inch rotor back here. I like the separate park brake, of course, looks very nice. And a nice looking wheel, heavily dished. And again, a big 305 20-inch diameter wheels all around. So for storage up front, you got the four rings, of course, which we've talked about before. Not a ton of room down there. Fair, nice square size. I'm sure one soft bag would fit in there great, mostly because we have another transmission up front. Of course, the car being all-wheel drive has an extra transmission on those front wheels, so it does eat into some of the storage space. So looking out the window, you do just catch those that front fender there, which is a nice thing to see. And then further down, the driver's eye view of the main cockpit itself is very nice. Something that's very cool on this wheel is how much it moves. Watch this, I can move it up and down and in and out quite a lot. So you can really get into a comfortable position where your arms are comfortable and ready to leap into action in this very powerful car. Well, it's a very large display. You can see I've got it here in the manual mode in sport, and then in the performance mode that really opens up this lovely exhaust sound. And the little view button is really cool. If I click the view button here, it makes it totally different. And you can zoom in and out, of course, and change the way that all looks. But it gives you a little tiny rev counter, a little tiny speedo in the corners. You do have actual sort of gauges for temperature and fuel on the side there. I'll push view one more time and it goes back. I actually like this because on the right hand side it gives me, I'll put it into the park just for a moment, and it gives me power and torque as a percentage there of what we're using. So very interesting to watch. What I think I enjoy most about this 10-cylinder engine is the fact that you have to run it out. You've really got to rev it out to that 8,500 red line. Then she pulls like a train. Very, very impressive. If you are gentle with the car, it's incredibly gentle. If you really rev it out in the mat, I've got it in the dynamic mode today, just the sport dynamic mode. I've got the paddle shifters on, and I get the revs up really high. And when it gets about 5,500, she just goes right there. Man, impressive. Good brakes, solid brakes. The all-wheel drive feels much more advanced than it felt in the earlier cars too. It seems to be much more of a sporting personality this time. So the image of the car is really good. Yes, it is a lot of Lamborghini Huracan in this car, but they are very different personalities. If you call a friend in another state or another country and say you've just bought an Audi R8 or you've just bought a Lamborghini, you do get a different reaction with the Lamborghini. This is probably a better car. I say it's certainly more usable than the Lamborghini. But the Lamborghini is a Lamborghini. It's kind of it's that fun image of the car. So yes, a lot of similarities. This is more practical. I think the Lamborghini is more glamorous. So it's the sensible choice, I suppose. Okay, so let's run it down into old Batman's corner. 610 horsepower all-wheel drive. I think that has to be a good idea. And the transmission's amazing in this mode. Great balance. I'm keeping the revs up. The traction control is a little looser in this mode. Tiny bit of roll, but not much. Comes out really hard. Right, I'm gonna hit these brakes really hard and just see what we get. Got a very, very hard pedal. Might take some more heat in the brakes just to make it a bit softer, but a really hard pedal that scrubbed speed at an alarming rate. Really a lot of fun. Moving along now. Scrub those brakes, down the gears, into this right-hander. Boy, great balance. I do miss the turbocharging or normally around McLaren cars, but this thing, as I mentioned, if you rev it out, she's as quick as most things on the road. Very solid feel, the extra weight from that other transmission up front. Again, we saw the weight earlier, but just over 3,600 pounds. You don't feel that so much once you're moving. Initially you do, but once you start driving the car a little bit, I've been driving her now 30 minutes, and you really start to enjoy the vehicle and learn her limits, and they're high. So I'm going to use both feet, very firm on the brake, boot it, and let go. Man, now she's quick. Very impressive, very impressive. Then you feel that all-wheel drive working, and it almost spun its tires into second gear, even with all-wheel drive. A ton of power. Once you get those revs up, as I've said now several times in this video, my favorite thing about it is you have to drive it. You can put it in the sort of auto mode and cruise, and I think that's a compliment to the car, that she's incredibly usable when you do that. But if you just boot this thing, as I'm about to, it's unbelievable how it comes out. Very impressive. I enjoy it. All right, into our right-hander again. A bit harder this time. Hello. You hear that, how fast that transmission is. As soon as I touch the paddle, bang, we're in the next ratio. Very, very good. So that's the Audi R8 V10 Plus. It's a 2018 car. She's just arrived here at Dimmitt. I've got it running just to help cool it down. There's nothing like the smell of brakes in the afternoon. We really gave her a hard run. Let me show you the car one more time. And very pretty in this color. Again, so one of the more rare colors. Seems to be a lot of white ones, black ones, etc. But really, an amazing machine. I think the biggest compliment I can give it is it's incredibly usable. Now that sounds like a strange thing to say for a 600 horsepower supercar, but that's the car's reputation, that you can drive it every day and enjoy it. Of course, I sell McLaren cars. This is easier to get in and out of than a McLaren. However, look how far out this door has to open to get out of the silly thing. So I'm not sure it's as practical in parking situations, but as far as driving position, etc., I think bigger people fit in this car. So that's something to think about as well. Well, thank you for watching. Please ask me any questions you have down below. I have several new cars that we're going to be doing over the next few days, so I'm going to try and get some more content coming back. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like this video if you can, and I'll catch up with you soon. Thank you.